coated with gold. The glass enclosing it is tempered, laminated, and calibrated to a thickness of 3/8 of an inch in order to block out harmful UV light. And 70 bolts around the frame apply 300 pounds of pressure per linear inch, sealing it in. Inside the frame, parchment made from 1776, sits atop a perforated aluminum platform so that moisture can reach the backside of it in order to keep it supple. And all the while, inert argon kept at approximately 40% humidity and 60 degrees Fahrenheit staves off the oxidation process. And most grandiose of all, the case housing the Declaration, along with the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, collectively known as the Charters of Freedom, are lowered beneath the ground every night into a custom-built vault made to withstand a nuclear blast. But despite these advances for preservation and security, the ability to detect problems is growing faster than the capability to solve them. And most importantly, figuring out what to do if a problem arises. And so it is with us, friends. Though our concern reside not with the preservation and security of parchment and ink, nearly 2.5 centuries old, but with preserving and securing within the hearts and minds of the people a readiness to re-examine, reimagine, and reinterpret the guarantees of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness when they become crooked, narrow, and hell-bent on making America great in the name of me, the people, instead of we, the people. What then shall we do, you might ask? I'd like to suggest Scripture, American Scripture. On November 19, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln would use only 272 words for delivering his Gettysburg Address. The speech, lasting just 2 minutes long, would enter the lexicon of American Scripture as one of the most powerful and concise statements of freedom our nation has ever heard. And drawing upon his unwavering quest for pursuing the true spirit of our nation's founding creed, Lincoln would posit a new vision of America amidst the chaos and rancor of a civil war. So standing thus on the blood-stained fields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, Lincoln would stand up and say, 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. Lincoln would continue on, but in a larger sense, it is for us to be here dedicated to this unfinished work thus far so nobly advanced. It is for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom. Lincoln's invitation to participate in the unfinished work of equality would indeed usher in a new birth of freedom, rooted in the sentiment that American exceptionalism, thenceforward and forever, shall include those pushed to the very margins of society, the outcasts, and that to truly make and keep America great, this exceptionalism is incumbent upon each and every citizen patriot of this nation, no matter their religious creed, sex, age, race, national origin, and to pursue not only their individual liberties, but also the liberties of others endowed by their Creator. You see, friends, in the hands of Lincoln, the Declaration became a living document, willing and able to inspire faith, hope, and love of country for the common good, whilst confronting conspiracy, secession, insurrection, and a rebellion against the peace and sanctity of the United States government. Friends, are you picking up what I'm putting down here? Ultimately, though, the authority for preserving the principles of the Declaration rests not just in the hands of presidents or politicians, but in we, the people. Poets, prophets, preachers, and you. Yes, you, ma'am. And you, sir, and you. Which brings me back to where I began, with parchment and ink, what to do, and this Sharpie. There were 56 signers willing to sign their name to the Declaration, an act of treason, mind you, against the British Crown. And chief among them were Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and the like. The first, however, was John Hancock, with his signature best remembered for being the largest and most flamboyant over all the rest. Anecdotes from American folklore suggest that Hancock wrote in such a manner as to make his defiance against King George III more than obvious to the naked eye and to those needing spectacles. However, no historical document remains as to why he wrote the way he did. But what we do know is this: someone had to go first and pave the way for the others. Someone had to go first and pave the way for the others. Friends, one way we invite you into the work of Vote Common Good is by having you sign on with us. When you make a declaration, a commitment to confronting Christian nationalism and insurrections, by committing to faith, hope, and love, we want to take you with us. So as you may have noticed when you walked in this evening, there is a rather larger than life and orange bus in the parking lot. But what you may not have noticed that there are hundreds of signatures from people just like you that we have accrued throughout the entire Midwest. So with this Sharpie, I'd love to meet you at the back of the room and take you out to the bus to put your John Hancock on the bus, along with your city and state, because we will share the work done here tonight. In closing, allow me to leave you with these final words from Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Though the world will little note nor long remember what we say here, may our government of the people, by the people, and for the people never perish from the earth. Thank you.